Recent scholarship has shown that museums serve as sites of active learning for students in a variety of fields, offering in-person and online encounters, cultural perspectives, and opportunities to consider contexts of production, acquisition, and display. In university museums, students can synthesize and apply knowledge and skills acquired in classes, translating academic instruction into adaptable, socially engaged, and real-world applications sought by many employers and a host of postgraduate committees. For students in art-related fields, these experiences can enrich grant, artist residency, and graduate and professional applications. For students in any number of fields, museum learning can enhance critical thinking and visual analysis, as well as the ability to discuss diverse forms of human production in our increasingly visually oriented culture. All of these skills can enrich student professional development generally. This paper is exploring active learning in university museums, considering the ways in which museum engagement can foster visual literacy, critical thinking, and applicable academic and professional skills. In considering the role of academic museums, this discussion is approached from the perspective of an educator and considers a new museums and gallery class being taught at Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas, where our campus museum serves as a site of active learning. Museums have long been established on university campuses and in sizable cities. Today, museums can be found in communities of various sizes with the resources or patrons to support acquisition and the conservation of art and artifacts, serving also as sites of cultural gatherings and community outreach. Many early museums were private affairs, displaying objects for personal pleasure and small groups of elite visitors. In contrast, museums since the late 18th century have emphasized exhibiting art for public enjoyment and education. Hints of elitism remain, however, in the public consciousness, and many museums seek to reframe public perceptions and increase participation in museum experiences. Museums of the 21st century are multifaceted, and their missions focus on not only collecting and conserving objects deemed monetarily, culturally, and historically valuable, but also exhibiting them to ever-expanding audiences as artifacts that document and preserve, celebrate, and critique histories and cultures. Many museums house education departments designed to bring the public in and showcase museums as welcoming learning environments. These spaces, and particularly their academic counterparts, are essential to students of art, art history, and art education, whose research and creative activities benefit from object and archival research, as well as real-time engagement with art. For these and other students in a variety of fields, such engagement also provides opportunities to learn from working with professionals in careers that serve historical, cultural, and community missions. As with community museums, university museums provide opportunities to experience and learn about the art and artifacts of the past and the present, and to learn from trained professionals who can offer insights into the relevance of museums to learning, professional development, and civic engagement. For many academic and community stakeholders, campus art museums provide unique opportunities to engage with art and its history in ways that resonate with lived experience, serving as sites of discovery and real-time learning. Because of their proximity to students' daily activities and university experiences, academic museums are vital resources. This is particularly so in regions with limited access to community museums. Even where museums abound, however, campus museums provide close-up encounters with objects of artistic, cultural, and historical significance, shaping a space for active and vibrant experiential learning. For studio and art history students especially, campus art museums provide opportunities to investigate the material properties of artworks and the very theme of materiality, as well as how materials can be used to convey or amplify meaning. Skills that also develop critical thinking and viewing abilities generally. This paper considers case studies in museum learning, really two iterations of the Lamar University Museum and Galleries class, one conducted in 2024 and one that is in progress in 2025. Because the 2025 class is still in progress, I don't have results for that class, but I think there's a good indication that things are moving in a positive direction. As Judy Wilcox points out in The Power of Concrete Experience, Museum Collections, Touch and Meaning Making in Art and Design Pedagogy, a new emphasis on student learning has led to special collections coming back into play as vehicles for higher education and teaching and learning. As Wilcox notes, such practices are perfect for art and design students who must develop formal analysis and interpretive skills as they explore art making and display in a variety of media. Campus museums, and there's just some additional images. Campus museums are particularly suited to such experiential learning, which according to D. Fink, David A. Kolb, and other prominent educators involves a direct encounter with the phenomena being studied rather than merely thinking about the encounter. In addition to exploring art and artifacts in relation to art history, culture, and creative processes, museum learning seems to be particularly suited to higher order thinking and thinking in the areas of human dimension, caring, and learning how to learn. Also creativity, the kind of creativity that students engage with in academic museums tops the updated chart of Bloom's taxonomy for higher order learning. But it's also the experiential learning in these museums forms the base of the pyramid of participatory rather than passive learning that studies show to better engage students and to contribute to memory retention and the ability to transfer and apply related skills. As demonstrated by a National Art Education Association and an Association of Art Museum Directors study of the museum experience in school children, direct experience and in-person analysis in museums bolsters creative thinking and problem-solving skills, and children who participated in active learning in museums scored higher on critical thinking tests. It stands to reason then that exploring objects in their contexts of display, which are their own forms of higher order representation, that this can enrich undergraduate experiences and critical thinking and viewing abilities. Many art and art history classes make use of campus museums as a matter of course to help students develop close-looking, formal and interpretive analysis and examination of art and its many different iterations and afterlives. Building upon work conducted in such classes, our new museum course at Lamar University explores local and global connections, fosters collaboration, and promotes communication and critical thinking through object and context-based experiences. These are conducted at several museums in the class, but our primary base of operations is our campus museum because it's right where we're located. These activities help students prepare for internships as well and postgraduate positions, but also given the museum's role in making art from a variety of sources available to students, the class also fosters community engagement and social responsibility. Although Lamar University, our class takes a local approach primarily, and that's an opportunity for us to promote empowerment in the sense of regional as well as national and international art. The class participates in a global movement to reconnect the studies of art, art history, and lived experiences. The object-based learning program at the University College London is an example of this movement on the global front. According to their website, the university considers the academic museum to be a site of personal meaning making, where students can develop academic and transferable skills, such as teamwork and communication, as well as developing analytical skills. The University College of London also conducted studies that suggest that direct encounters with hands-on museum learning resonates with students in ways that contribute to the long-term retention of ideas. As Kolb has elaborated, experiential learning, such as can be conducted in these museums, involves experience or a direct encounter with objects or phenomena. And this creates greater reflection upon the encounter and generalization of ideas that lead to higher order thinking, as well as application of related skills in a variety of different real world contexts. Since object-based learning instills skills that are valuable in a variety of contexts in academia and beyond, many educators are beginning to explore more fully and more fully engage with academic museums. In spring 2024, the Lamar University Department of Art and Design began offering a course on museums and galleries specifically. Our class started out with a simple approach, expanding engagement with our campus museum beyond what could be achieved in an ordinary class. So we basically reviewed innovative programs in the United States and abroad, and then decided to craft our own path based on the feedback we were getting from students, alumni, and regional and museum gallery professionals, as well as alumni who had gone on to different museum studies programs. With their guidance, we began by covering a brief history of museums, and that includes a history of collecting, the politics of power, the dynamics of display, and then how those missions have evolved over time to become more inclusive and to focus more on empowerment. I'm not sure how I'm doing on time, so I'm going to try to move through this a little more quickly. But basically, we were able to spend more class periods looking at the art, and so that's what some of the images that I'm showing you. And we spent a lot of time looking at this artworks both individually and in groups, so that students had a chance to really spend some time looking closely, developing their visual analysis skills, but then also to compare notes and also to compare different methods of analysis. So we use different kinds of questionnaires to help guide some of the kinds of questions students might begin to ask themselves and to ask each other. But then we also use several different methods that have been created in different contexts nationally, just to kind of show students that there are different approaches that you can take, and also to let them to critically evaluate the kinds of questions that are being asked. Are we asking enough questions? Are we asking questions that are showing multiple perspectives and multiple voices? Are we, delving deeply into different ways that the artists or group of artists might have been trying to convey meaning? So I'm showing right now, this is our students in an exhibition at our campus art museum by an artist named Michael R. Collins, who we are located in Southeast Texas. This artist is located in Houston, but he has international connections as well as connections to the history of art that are both kind of in the vein that we might think of as elitist, but also the vein of artists trying to push the boundaries and to be more inclusive. So it was interesting because we were able to spark debate and have students to kind of ask critical questions about the approach of this particular artist. And also it was an exhibition of his work with work by his own father, who was an artist. So it also let us ask questions about the the kind of history and also the framing of art as this kind of history of, quote, founding fathers of art, and how that's changed over time to include the voices of women, of people from around the world, and not just kind of Western artists who've been framing that discourse. The other thing that was interesting about this work, I believe, is that let me see if so the show also included, it included the work by the father and the son, but it also included work, global art that influenced this artist's father, which allowed us to talk about how the discourse of modernism emerged as this primarily Western innovation, but in reality, a lot of those artworks were they were either inspired by or straight out appropriated by arts of other parts of the world, and to have some discussions about the implications of that. So I think we, on the one hand, students were learning to appreciate different methods of art making and exhibiting, but they were also learning to really kind of critically evaluate and question the politics of that and the politics of the display of that work. And then at the same time, thinking about how the campus university is a resource for us to see these works, but then also to have these kinds of discussions. So our class also dealt with how to bring the community into the discussions, and this particular exhibition was dealing also with this family, the artist's family's experiences, and cultural memory of the Holocaust. So it also opened up a lot of very serious content that is, extremely historically important to think about. So
We have about 1 minute. You have 1 minute left.
okay, thank you. All right, sis, I thought I may be running out of time. And so basically, I will say that 75% of the class scored 85% or better on all graded activities, but all 19 students in the 2024 class reported an increased level of confidence in museum engagement, but also in engagement discussing cultural artifacts and discussing those objects with other students and with community stakeholders. They also reported increased confidence thinking about pursuing careers, or one of our final projects was to write an exhibition proposal that was thematically and socially engaged. And our students all reported a higher level of, they scored high, but they also reported a higher level of confidence applying those skills to things like proposal writing for other kinds of cultural venues or professional or academic contexts that they might use in future classes or careers. So basically, that concludes my talk in our class this semester. Again, it's too early to report all of the results, but we just took a trip yesterday to several museums in Houston, and we saw work, by artists all around the world dealing with all kinds of different themes. Our students are especially interested in artists who are dealing with themes of identity, sexual orientation, inclusivity, race, class, multicultural interaction, and I really look forward to talking with them on Monday about their, we're gonna have our discussion on Monday about what their thoughts are based on our day yesterday, looking at these museums in Houston. So thank you.